The Mako, our beloved janky mode of planetside transportation in the first Mass Effect game, is a symbol of the franchise. Many of the levels in Mass Effect 1 were designed with Mako gameplay in mind, so I started wondering, would it be possible to complete the game without ever using the Mako? That's what we're going to explore in this video. For this playthrough, I wanted to see how far I could progress in Mass Effect without using the Mako. I also wanted to steer clear of any glitches, exploits, or mods to keep the playing field level. You can probably predict where this playthrough will break down, but a lot of other content will be inaccessible as well. For starters, we cannot complete any quests that involve landing on uncharted worlds, because even if we opt to explore these planets on foot, the Mako is required to return to the Normandy. So unless we want to get stranded in the ass end of the Milky Way, we'll need the Mako for those quests. Meaning we can't help Admiral Kahoku, Helena Blake, or any other NPC that asks us to visit some random-ass planet. So what about the main story? After completing our adventures on Eden Prime and the Citadel, I opted to start this Mako-less journey on Therum. We are dropped down in the vehicle during a cutscene, so if you're being a purist, I guess you could say I've already failed. But we can quickly get out of the vehicle without moving it and start exploring on foot, and the Mako won't be required to leave the planet in this case, so I think we're in the clear. The first leg of Therum was probably the hardest Mako-less Mako section in this entire playthrough. There are at least 6 different Geth armatures that we'll need to fight on foot, as well as a heavily guarded Geth base. In a moment of carelessness, I got one shot by a Geth energy ball fired from one of those giant scrap heaps. My curiosity also drove me to test whether Commander Shepard could survive a walk on lava. He could not. The early parts of Noveria make a big stink about needing a garage pass, but once we gain access to the garage, we can simply stroll right past the Mako and out into the snow. Noveria is a level 1 hazard, however, meaning we will constantly lose HP and eventually drop dead. However, if you equip armor from Devlin Industries, such as this snazzy yellow survivor armor, then you can eliminate these effects and explore the snowy trails of Noveria to your heart's content. There aren't a whole lot of enemies in this level, but there are some heavy Geth turrets. I made the mistake of trying to outrun one of these instead of destroying it, and quickly realized my squad mates have zero sense of self-preservation. Caden, buddy, look out! Oh no, I guess I'll have to sacrifice Ashley on Virmire. Caden didn't even survive that long. As for the Geth foot soldiers, I highly recommend using a sniper rifle because there isn't a whole lot of cover to protect yourself. Other than that, getting to peak 15 was a breeze. We land on Feros with the Normandy, so initially I expected that we would never need the Mako for this level. However, when entering the skywalk between Zoo's Hope and the Exogeny HQ, the garage door is locked. In order to pass through this door, we unfortunately need to enter the Mako.
And now to the Geth base. Expect heavy resistance.
However, we won't actually need to drive the Mako anywhere in this level. Once the door is unlocked, we can exit the vehicle and proceed on foot. The skywalk was a little more challenging than Noveria, but not as difficult as Therum. There are a mixture of Geth armatures and rocket-wielding foot soldiers. However, there's plenty of space to move around and evade projectiles, so you should have no problem taking down all the enemies. After entering Exogeny and forcibly detaching the Geth ship, we link up with Lisbeth Bainham and proceed on foot back to Zoo's Hope. Lisbeth's dialogue lines will still play as if you were exploring in the Mako, even though she is nowhere to be seen.
Is there anybody? Is there anyone picking this up? Get away from that radio!
What was that all about?
When you pass near the encampment with Ethan Jong and friends, Lisbeth will yell out to stop the vehicle, at which point you'll be teleported into the Mako at the end of the cutscene.
What's going on? Stop! Stop! They're over!
Gotta go.
Again, we'll get out of the vehicle and go deal with Mr. Corpo Man.
If that's the way it has to be, heck, come on, come on!
There are less troops to deal with on the return trip, and once we reach the garage full of Thorian creepers, we're pretty much in the clear. The Mako is not required to complete Virmire. We even start the mission outside the Mako once we land on the planet, so unlike Therum, we'll never need to interact with the vehicle at all. It was interesting to explore Virmire on foot, especially seeing those weird docile crab creatures up close. I noticed they only have one eye, so I guess that would make them Cyclops crabs. They die instantly with any brute force at all, disappearing into nothingness upon death. Definitely some of the more bizarre fauna in this franchise. Virmire truly is a beautiful planet. It's so cool to finally see it up close like this. At this point, taking down the Geth on foot is a breeze since we're leveled up and have better gear. Once we reach Kirahi's base, the rest of the mission is on foot anyway, so we're good to go. The Mako obviously plays a major role on Ilos, from the dramatic drop onto the planet to the mad dash for the conduit at the end of the mission. But you can actually progress pretty far in the mission without setting foot in the vehicle. It was actually pretty cool to listen to squadmate dialogue here without the loud buzzing of our Mako.
I have spent my life studying the Protheans, but I never dreamed I would discover anything like this. This bunker might have been the last refuge of their entire species. Just imagine what mysteries it might hold. Imagine what secrets it might reveal.
Please, try to remember why we're here. Saren, the conduit, the fate of the entire known galaxy.
I am sorry. I was swept up in the moment. I just hope we have the opportunity to study this place in detail after this is done.
I thought Saren would have set some kind of trap or ambush for us. They must have been in too much of a hurry.
Or we just have yet to run into it.
Also, side note, I forgot how hilarious Shepard's renegade line with Liara is after the conversation with Vigil.
This might be our only chance to speak with it, our only link to the knowledge of the Protheans. It is the opportunity of a lifetime.
We're in a race to save the galaxy and you want to play Q&A with a hologram?
You are right. I am sorry.
Sadly, our playthrough cannot withstand the final dash to the conduit, though it was hilarious imagining Shepard trying to actually make this run on foot while I played through this section. Watching him run out of stamina was just tragic. As predicted, you cannot beat Mass Effect without the Mako. You need it for Feros and Ilos specifically, as well as exiting any uncharted worlds. But it was still fun to push the boundaries and see what was possible in this game beyond what the developers intended. So there you have it, my no Mako playthrough of Mass Effect 1. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more Mass Effect and RPG videos. Big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my content. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.